I moved around a lot in the United States, and I wound up going to Japan for the last 2 years of high school, Yokohama High, Yo-High.
Still got a few Japanese phrases, have you?
A little, yeah, I've lost a lot of it, but since I've gone back, you pick it up again.
You did a lot of television work, didn't you, in the early days? Things like Coronation Street.
Well, it's sort of the American version of Coronation Street. I did 51 episodes of an American soap opera, but really it was a matter of trying to get any experience I could. So I did a lot of college theater. I was a theater arts major for 2 years, and I was in a repertory company for 3 seasons, recreating Elizabethan Renaissance period. So a lot of Moliere, a lot of Shakespeare, anything that came along, really.
So from Shakespeare, you whizzed ahead to your first film role, to Star Wars.
Yes.
And you had to do a lot of, particularly for this latest film, you've had to learn a lot of special skills, a lot of grueling stunts you've had to do. What sort of stuff did you have to learn?
Well, in The Empire Strikes Back, it's such a physical ordeal for my character, and I eventually, as we saw in the little film clip, confront the Dark Lord, and I have to look like an expert swordsman, which I'm not. So for 4.5 months before we started filming, I started 5 days a week with karate, kendo, which is Japanese sword play. I did some weightlifting, and I took fencing. But I have to, give credit where credit's due, and the British stuntmen, Peter Diamond, Colin Skeeping, and Bob Anderson did a fantastic job because they couldn't double me, really. I mean, Darth Vader has a helmet on, so they were able to use an Olympic fencing champion, but they're the ones that really make you look good.
But as you all the way through, there were no stand-ins in that stuff.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of talk, a lot of stuff written in the press about a terrible accident that you survived. Those reports were exaggerated, I believe.
Oh, yeah. In early '77, before the film came out, my car skidded and I broke my nose against the steering wheel. And it was sort of forgotten. They set the nose, and the movie came out. Nobody noticed, that there was anything wrong. And I never really thought about it. And over the period of years, it's built up into having my face reconstructed with plastic surgery.
But it wasn't really too bad, and you are really as you seem. Well, that's reassuring. Now some questions from Mark. Susan Parker from Sunderland, Grant Bailey from Balham, and Nathan Williams, who is 7 years old, lives in Moor Farm in Hereford.
It's my son's name, Nathan.
Nathan?
Yes.
Yes, I think a lot of the children know that. They've sent them their best wishes.
Oh.
They want to know how you got the part of Luke Skywalker.
Well, it's funny in a way, because when I heard about Star Wars, I asked what kind of film it was. I knew George Lucas's work from American Graffiti, and when I found out that it was a science fantasy kind of film, I'm very interested in special effects myself. So, for some reason, it didn't occur to me that there would be any part for me in it. All I wanted to do was maybe go down and see if I could visit the set and see some of the special effects being done. And when my agent inquired about it, she discovered that there was a role for a 20-year-old farm boy. So next thing you know, I auditioned, and they did a videotaped screen test, 6 pages of dialogue. I didn't even know what the story was. And then I found out that I got the part. Imagine my amazement when I read the screenplay.
Yeah, right. Mark Mania was born. Jane Arbour of Harlow in Essex wants to know, did you realise how big an impact, and who did really, that Star Wars would have when you got that part?
I always thought it was going to be a popular movie. It had all the humor. It was in the screenplay. As the art directors, John Barry and Ralph McQuarrie, the conceptual artist, I saw all the paintings, and I thought, gee, this is a winner. I really thought it would be maybe along the lines of the Planet of the Apes success, but I didn't know it would sort of bridge so many different generations of fans.
Yeah.
It's really I think, appeals to the child in everyone.
Yeah, that horrible word kid-alt kind of
Kid-alt.
covers it, yeah. Lucy Inglis, who was 4 years old, was only 1 when you did that. Want to know, what was it like swinging across that great gap?
That was the most fun, and in filmmaking, there's so many things that go wrong, so many unknowns, that you're required to do it over and over, sometimes 20 times. And wouldn't you know that they got that shot of us swinging across in 1 take. There were 4 cameras, and they checked everyone. They said, all right for camera 1, all right for camera 2, all right for camera 3. all right for camera 4, and I thought, oh no, I was looking forward to this so much.
Didn't have to do it 20 times.
No, what was nice was that the man that was flying us, we were in harnesses because, as the kids probably know, if you jump off holding a little thin piece of cord, zip, you'll slide right down, get terrible rope burn on your hands and fall. So we were in harnesses much the way they fly Peter Pan on stage.
Yeah.
And the man that was in control of the flying harness said, you want to fly? You got it. And proceeded to fly me all over the set, you know, like a puppet.
For free. What about the things that you don't expect? Nigel Stutt from Wellfield, Whitley at Bay asked, have you been hurt during filming ever? You yourself, not the character.
In The Empire Strikes Back, I was doing a scene where they're giant walking machines, these big, you know, about 150-foot high walking machines. And in one of the shots, I was supposed to jump away from the foot, which smashes down.
Yeah.
I leaped out and just smashed my thumb. So it was just a sprained thumb, but it shut down production for 5 days because I couldn't hold the lightsaber.
The most expensive thumb in the world.
Well, and you know, it's not, you know, you'd think that you'd expect the answer to that to be something that appears to be far more dangerous than simply jumping out and landing on your
Quick
stomach.
little movement,
Yeah.
one thumb, 5 days, no work. John Chamberlain, who is 11 from Bolton, and Catriona Campbell, 14, and Louise Jarry would like to know if you are anything like the character of Luke Skywalker in real life. Do you use lightsabers a lot around the home?
No, I wish I had one, but no, I think that probably there's a lot of things in my personality, and mind you, like I said, George Lucas never really told me what the storyline was. He just said, tell me a little bit about yourself, just like you were asking about my family. And so I told him basically the same thing. My father was in the Navy, I lived in New York, I lived in Japan, and so forth. So a lot of I think the innocence, the naive quality maybe that is still in me. I'd like to think I'm a little more sophisticated than Luke, but I think in The Empire Strikes Back, he's really growing up. It's a different Luke Skywalker in this film, and that's...
Well, some years have passed since
Yes,
you
3
first
years.
did the character,
3
right.
years.
Fiona Ferguson from Falkirk and Robert Davis from Exmouth, Robin Clark from Rossington want to know which film you enjoyed more. Is it possible to like one more than the other?
That is difficult to say. I think it was more gratifying for me as an actor in this one, because I think I get to show a little bit more depth, and it's not so much golly anymore. It's more, hey.
Must be difficult to know the right word to shout when you're faced with something like Darth Vader at full blast.
Yeah, he's not the nicest guy around.
Are there going to be more? Obviously, there's quite a batch of these movies planned.
Well, The Empire Strikes Back is the second act of a trilogy. So the next film, Revenge of the Jedi, is not a cliffhanger. There are some unanswered questions at the end of The Empire Strikes Back. Revenge of the Jedi ties it all up, and then they go back 20 years and do the stories that preceded Star Wars, young Alec Guinness, young Darth Vader. And Luke is only a 4-year-old in that, so maybe one of the kids watching right now will be up for that part.
I'm going to say, if not, it's going to be some miracles work. That's the first programme over, I'm afraid. By the way, all of you whose names have been mentioned on the programme will get their badges as soon as possible when I finish knitting them. And I'd like to thank Mark Hamill for being my guest this afternoon. May the Force be with you for eternity, if not for longer.
Thank you, Michael, and on behalf of the entire cast and crew of The Empire Strikes Back, we want to wish you a happy Empire Day.
Oh, perfect.
All right?
What a lucky boy I am. Thank you very much. Marvellous, thank you.